Okay, so I'm going to take 10 minutes and just talk about what we think is a decade of mobile. So Simon Andrews, I run a business called Addictive, which is a creative agency focused on mobile and social. There's a few people I recognise who read at Mobile Fix, which is the weekly newsletter we do, and this is a compressed version of that. But who's heard the story about is it the year of mobile? This has been going around for about sort of 7 or 8 years. It's the decade of mobile. Everything significant around communication and business, we think mobile is at the heart of that. I want to try and convince you of that in the next 10 minutes or so. One thing though, 20 years ago, I worked on the launch of home computers for Compaq. We went around the country talking to people, would you like a home computer? And why would I want office equipment in my house? Why do I want to learn Control-Alt-Delete and all that sort of stuff? But the power of a CD-ROM and the idea of desktop publishing persuaded people, yes, we'll have a home computer. But we think over that 20 years, we've got an evolving situation now where the mobile phone and the tablet is how computing should be. We've all got in our pockets a device we talk to, we touch, we don't do Control-Alt-Delete. That device is connected to all the information in the world, we can do everything with it from there. That's how computing should be. It's in our pockets now, hugely powerful. And we think that really, whether you've got a phablet or a tablet or a phone, whatever size you've got, this is the key to the world. We're going to talk a little bit about Ford and automotives, talk about wearables. The mobile phone is going to be the thing that's at the heart of that. I've got a Nike Fuel Band. Because it hasn't got an iPhone app yet, and I've got an Android phone, it's sort of, it's okay, it clocks my progress through the day, it tells me fuel points. If I've got it working with my iPhone, it's much, much smarter. So these peripherals will work with a mobile phone as a key to everything. And we think that the future's already here. You're a global organisation. We think if you go around the world, all the stuff that's going to be really important to us is already happening. So over in Asia, you've got 35 million people in Japan use their mobile phone to pay for the tube journeys, to pay in shops without going to the till, to unlock their doors sometimes. That sort of behaviour is going to travel over here. Has anyone used Barclays Ping It? So a really interesting innovation over here. You can now send money to somebody else in the UK by text. Fantastic, a huge success. It's been in Mozambique for 4 years. You know, things that actually seem very interesting over here are coming from different parts of the world. So we think all around the world, there's all the sort of glimpses of what the future is going to be, and these things are coming to our market pretty quickly. It's illegal to talk about mobile without a Mary Meeker chart. Stephen's met it, so have I. The interesting thing here is mobile's huge, and we're going to talk about that, but right now, around the world, only 20% of the population of the world have got a 3G connection. So look at the growth rates. If you go down here, India, 841% year-on-year growth for 3G connections. Vietnam, 358%. So every market in the world is moving towards smartphones as well. We're doing a little bit of work in Africa, and whilst everyone's using feature phones there, cheap Android phones manufactured by Chinese companies we've never heard of are selling for $50. So all those markets will move towards smartphones pretty quickly. And again, Stephen made this point, it's not just about mobile. Mobile isn't some little bubble over its own, it's how you fit things together. Because consumers now expect to get your content, your brand services, your brand message on whatever device they happen to be using. It might be the mobile phone, it might be the tablet, it might be the PC, it will be the smart TV. You have to think about these things holistically. One thing we always talk about is the people who shape this are Google, Apple, Facebook and Amazon. We think those 4 companies control pretty much the shape of the market because they've got so much money, so much power and so much reach. And all those companies are building out what we call a vertical stack. They all have hardware now. Facebook doesn't quite yet, but we think it'll come. They've all got software. They all sell things, allow storage, a social network. They're all trying to build up these very intense business models that run vertically and compete with everybody else. So those guys we have to watch. But what it means for brands is it's a terribly fragmented world. What do I do in this? Do I do something for the iPhone? Do something for Android? And the danger is that everyone sits there, I'm going to wait till it calms down a little bit. It's not going to happen. There isn't going to be any calming down. You know, we have to deal with that fragmented world. And one of the ways we look at this market, we think about the 4 Ps of marketing on mobile: people, places, physical, and promotions. I'll go very quickly. First of all, people, social. So how many people on Facebook use Facebook here? Go and admit it. How many people use it on their mobile phones? So 2/3, 3/4 of people who use Facebook use it on their mobile devices, and the people who use it on mobile devices go on more often, spend more time on there. Which sort of makes sense. If you're sat in your office doing Facebook, you're going to get into some sort of trouble. If you're at home, you should be talking to your family. But you've got 5 minutes in Pret a Manger, you can go on Facebook and check it out from there. So mobile and social are now the same things. You can't do the two things without doing them together. Places are also very into the whole location thing. You know, Google have got this. Now when I search for something in Google, it looks at my location, gives me the right answer from there. Location's really, really key. It's quite interesting. Tesco, you can buy mobile advertising in the catchment area of Tesco's around the country. So 5 million people who are with 250 yards with Tesco. So the idea of using location is getting more and more powerful, and we can be more and more granular in how we target. Physical, NFC, QR codes, 10,000 bus stops or ad shell posts in the UK now have the ability for people to interact with them with their phone by QR codes, NFC. So this stuff's going mass market quite quickly. And the final thing, just on promotions, so Groupon, as an example, promotions have gone from 14% of Groupon deals were done on mobile just 2 years ago. It's now 45%. So promotions moving that way as well. So every category of business is really moving towards mobile very, very fast. What we're focused on very quickly, context. Has anyone got Google Now on their phone? So go today and download Google Now. It's now on iPhone as well. And Google Now is really clever because what it's doing is using all the things on your phone to give you a service. So this morning at 7 o'clock, my phone knew from my diary I had to be here at Centre Point 8 o'clock. It knows where Centre Point is, it knows where I am because of location. It also knows how the tube's running, so it tells me I need to leave now because the central line's delayed to get there. It pulls up things like, it knows your football team and pull up scores from there. When you arrive in a new country, it automatically pulls up the exchange rates for you, things like that as well. So context is really important, and that's generation 1. It's the first generation. So go play with that, and you get a glimpse of the future of mobile. We talked about tablets. Yeah, you remember the iPhone coming out phenomenal? Tablets have just taken off and gone so much quicker than that. We think tablets are really interesting. They're not the same thing as mobile, because most tablets tend to get used in the home, but they're a new category of device, and thinking about how you deal with people using those, I think is really important. Yeah, a huge number of people have got them. Sales are just going to keep on ramping because people love them, but very few people have tailored their content or services to work on the tablet. And because most websites will work pretty well on the tablet, we're seeing people, it just becomes an extension of the desktop experience on a tablet, and that's a missed opportunity. I think there's huge potential there. And the final thing, which is relevant to us, is advertising. So has anyone seen this chart before? This is the money chart that always comes out. It's been around for a long time. So the amount of time isn't matching the amount of audience. So money hasn't followed eyeballs yet. And Mary Meeker talked about this. This is a $20 billion opportunity in the US, $50 billion globally. So when time gets aligned with money, $50 billion is going to shift from print and traditional media into digital and mobile. So one thing you have to ask yourself, is that a threat or is that an opportunity? If it's a threat, I'm not sure what you do really. Just work very hard and hope you retire quite quickly. But if you look at this opportunity, that's an amazing thing there. That money's going to shift. How do you make sure you get more than your fair share of that from people? But it's not all good news. I think the media owners in this room will know this chart very well. There's some New York Times data from the States, but it's generally true. On traditional media, you get a really good cost per thousand compared to digital media. So TV, an ad in 2.5 men gets $33 cost per thousand. On online, you get about $6. On mobile, you get about $3. And this great saying, analog dollars turning to digital cents. And if you don't solve that problem, if digital is going to be much, much cheaper than traditional, because there's a lot of inventory, because we buy cheaper, the problem we have is all of those businesses that create loads of great content are going to run out of money. You can't run the New York Times or the BBC or the Guardian on getting $3 cost per thousand. That sort of shift is a really big issue. And the way of solving that, I think, is agencies. So media agencies tend to have got mobile, but they don't tend to have very many people on it just yet. John's a pioneer in his company, but take it seriously. We think most creative agencies don't get mobile and don't take it seriously. And until the madmen sort of people start to embrace mobile, we think we're going to have a problem that the money's not going to flow over from there. But we think if you look at it as an opportunity, it's a fantastic time and great opportunity to define what your brand can do in this space and be an early mover and get competitive advantage. So you always end up with this chart. It's a great time to experiment. You should be going back and working out what can we do with mobile, with small amounts of money we can measure what happens and work out what works for us, what might work, and try some things out. So thank you.